LSD or something. I don't know. But generally that won't happen. So generally you can do zazen by yourself for a while, for a couple of years or whatever, without having a teacher. There's a line in Dogen's. It's called Gakudo Yojinshu, something about guidelines for studying the way, in which he says, and this is often quoted, that it's better, if you don't have a teacher, it's better not to study Buddhism at all, which is kind of his hard line look at it. But he doesn't ever say that if you don't have a teacher, it's better not to do zazen at all. So that's two different things. And the need for having a teacher, probably you can put it off for a while, and eventually, I mean, I say this very optimistically, that eventually, if anybody is ready for a teacher, the teachers sort of pop up as if by magic. I don't want to make it sound like it's as if by magic or anything, but it sort of happens. I don't know. I never think that things that happen in my life are special cases, and so. But in my own experience, that's kind of what happened to me. I never actually set out to look for a Buddhist teacher. I never was even interested in Buddhism to begin with. It just so happened that I was trying to find a class about Eastern religions, and I hoped to find some, wild and woolly sort of Hinduism and blue gods with 18 arms sort of stuff. That's what I was interested in. And the only class on offer that was like that was a class called Zen Buddhism. I thought, well, that's sort of close. So I took it, and so that's how finding a teacher went for me. And then finding Nishijima Sensei was just Tokyo Classifieds, had an ad in there, about these lectures he was giving. There are teachers out there, and you just kind of gotta find them. And I get asked this question by email a lot. Usually from people in like Omaha or something. I'm trying to think of somewhere remote. I don't know. Maybe Omaha's not that remote, but anyway, somebody who's in an area with no Buddhist centers or anything, or they've gone to their local Buddhist center and they thought it was a piece of crap. What I usually tell people who go to their local Buddhist center and find out it's a piece of crap is that maybe, see, I don't know the situation, it may be terrible, but I can say from my experience, when I first started going to Nishijima Sensei's lectures, I thought they were terrible. I just really thought this guy was crap. But I kept going back, and I'd go there and then go, well, I don't want to listen to this anymore. This is stupid, and then leave and stay away for a couple weeks, and then I'd be like, no, I want to go see what that guy's talking about again, and then go back. It was totally stupid for the first several months, and eventually I went to a retreat with him and all this other stuff. And even during my first retreat with him, I was except the situation. It's really difficult to walk out of this particular retreat because you're going to be walking a long way. So you're sort of captive here. But I remember when at a lecture at the first retreat of his I went to, I was like, if there would have been a way to walk out, I would have walked out because I was that mad about it. And I don't, now I don't have any idea what it was that set me off, but I just remember going, just crap, and just going, off on it. So sometimes what might seem to be not exactly what you wanted may turn out to be useful anyway, or it might turn out to be just as bad as you thought it was. But sometimes just having a place to do practice is all right, and it's kind of good to practice with a group. Anyway, even if who was it? Maybe Peter remembers. There was a guy who told us about some group he'd gone to where they they would do zazen. They would get together. It was like a local temple, and they had a little zazen kai, and they would get together and do their zazen, and then afterwards go out drinking beer. So it's like just so there's like these little rural places they got in Japan where people would get together and do zazen, and some of them are like that. They all go out and have a beer after doing their zazen. But it's still, even something like that could be good for a while, for a little while. And it's not that you don't have to be so urgent or gotta get a teacher sort of feeling. It usually something will come. I know that sounds like a dumbass answer, but.
I've got a question.
Yes.
It's about self-denial and how Western is perceived, like Zen, as being something really, really simple, and you've got to like stop doing all this stuff and simplify your life.
Oh yeah.
But I used to think that it was like that, but now I'm thinking it's more like chaotic than anything.
Buddhism is more chaotic?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's a certain... self-denial and kind of doing with less and all that sort of thing. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Where you try to get rid of...
Stop drinking, stop smoking,
yeah.
Don't drink coffee, don't eat meat, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah, I don't know.
How much can you give up?
I can only answer from my own experience, which is that I keep giving up these things without really meaning to, So I have this, when people see the things I do and don't do, then they think I'm being like really, self-denying and all this stuff, but it's just like I don't want to. Like I don't drink because I used to drink some when I was in college and I never liked it, and I see all these other people, all my friends and stuff, they really like getting drunk, and I'm like, okay, well they all really like getting drunk, maybe getting drunk is fun. And I'd get drunk and hate it. I really never enjoyed that feeling at all. And so I don't, so I don't drink, and I stopped eating meat, but I just didn't want to eat meat anymore, so I stopped it, And I stopped drinking any kind of caffeine because it gives me incredible headaches. So, it's like, so I'm doing all these things that look like self-denial, but they're like, the only way I can sort of manage. I don't think it's necessary to get into too much self-denial, but it's also good to sort of there's one of the 10 precepts that you take, the usual interpretation of it is something like don't abuse sexuality is one of the ways, one of the sort of more modern interpretations, and then there's other interpretations of it which are much more, like don't have sex or something like that, more of a vow of celibacy. But Nishijima Sensei has taken that one and he words it, don't desire too much, which I like because if you start to see what's too much, then you can live a much more comfortable life, and just trying to get a lot of stuff or have a lot of experiences. That's another thing we kind of do. I was going to say Westerners do, but I think Japanese people do it just as much. I don't think it's a particular Western thing, is to try to cram as much experience as possible in your life and try to experience everything. And that's not really necessary. I don't know, I was telling my friend of mine kind of my interpretation of it, because we were eating some Fritos, the snack. I don't know, the Fritos, the little corn chips. Yeah. And I was just saying, one time I was eating Fritos and I realized, one Frito is as good as a whole bag of Fritos. You don't really need to eat the whole bag to have the experience. What we do is we eat one and then we go, wow, that was great. And eat another one, wow, that was great. And eat another one, and you're sort of repeating this experience again and again and again, because it was good once, so it must be good 100 times. But really, as things go, you just have that one experience, and it's good enough. And if you can learn to